We are here. We are back with the BESL Season 3. We're back with the Rocket League. And, well, last week I was joined by my British compatriot in Mr. Craftman. It's with the greatest of pleasures that finally, week 2, we can introduce the man from the Baltics himself, Jar of Jam. I'm Ira Leak, by the way. I almost forgot to introduce myself, but Jar of Jam. You were there. You were watching the games. You were seeing everything that's going on. The BESL well underway now. And today, as always, we're going to have 4 series for our lovely audience out there, and hopefully more excellent games to come.
Well, I have to take 1 week off just to sort of watch it from the sidelines. But this time, I'm absolutely ready. And yeah, I'm within, I don't know, eyesight's distance of the matches right here in Latvia. So, and really, after seeing what has been happening last week, after some tremendous matches, after some domination as well, we might see some of that today, perhaps as well. We have a very tasty match of the week coming in at the very end of the stream. But even for now, the opener would be our very own Mind Games Esports, rather, Post Game Strong, as they are one of the 2 Latvian teams versus the Mind Games Esports.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can take a little look at the schedule coming up for you guys. So we've got Post Game Strong first up against Mind Games Esports. So that's twice now that Mind Games have been the first game of the week. Going to be interesting to see how they adapt to Post Game Strong, who had a real tough first week. We then have Ram Ranch up against Scavenge Esports, 2 teams that lost in week 1. We then see the debut of the professional Ballchasers. They didn't play. It was their off week last week. And they'll be going up against Spectre before our match of the day. And going into this week, it is a very deserving match of the day. Our league leaders, the Backflip boys, up against surely the performance of last week. Certainly the ones that caught the eye the most. Aight, to take a little look at the standings as well, just to confirm where everyone is. It was the Backflip boys, Aight, and Mind Games Esports all notching up wins. However, the Backflip boys, in playing 2 games, managed to win both of them, 3-0ing both of them as well. So that is why they are at the top with a 2-0 score. They've got Aight and Mind Games behind. Aight ahead on goal difference in that particular one, as well as win difference, since Mind Games actually lost one of their games in series to Ram Ranch. Professional Ballchasers find themselves in the top 4, and a reminder that with our LAN final at the end of the season, that of course at HyperTown in Riga, Latvia, the top 4, they move through to that LAN final. So Professional Ballchasers, it's early season, but they find themselves in the top 4 by virtue of not having lost a game. Of course, the 4 that did lose a game last week in Ram Ranch, Spectre, Scavenge Esports, and Post Game Strong, they all sit at the bottom of the table. And Post Game Strong, who lie dead last, although I guess they are joint dead last, since they both lost all 3 of their games in series. They both lost with a -3 goal difference to their opponents. They currently sit at the root of the table, Jam, and they're going up against Mind Games. Like I said, that is the second time in 2 weeks that they are in the first game. Of course, they have the confidence in saying, we're the first team to win in Rocket League Season 3 in the BESL, but they also have a little bit of uncertainty because they were the only team to win last week, which also ended up dropping a game. It was a tough first game for them. Ram Ranch came out the gates, but they came back.
Yeah, it has been a tough start for them. But first, let's focus on our very first match, which once again will be Post Game Strong versus Mind Games. I'm giving the upper hand here for the Mind Games, knowing how well they performed in their starting game, obviously with a win. Not a sweep, but hey, we're not putting that against them. It's just that their team seems to be a much more solid squad, especially against Post Game Strong, who many will consider one of the 2 weakest teams in the league.
Yeah, I'd certainly give the advantage to Mind Games as well. Yes, they had a tough time against Ram Ranch out the gates, but whereas Ram Ranch very much stuck with the same strategy, they didn't really switch things up. Mind Games did. And that is ultimately what gave them the 3-1 win. Of course, a win today over Post Game Strong wouldn't take them into first by virtue of games won and lost, but certainly would take them on to 2-0, which ultimately is a very healthy scoreline, although ricocheting off both posts there is the ball, as starting strong is the squad of Mind Games in the orange.
There's have been some great attacks already from the Mind Games. No shots on target just yet, but they managed to outplay the rest of the team almost single-handedly. Those individual efforts beating the rest of the post-game strong defense. And even here, Pumpkin Digger just goes in, pulls in 2 players of post-game strong towards him, and Rukawa seemingly is experiencing some technical issues because he was on the other side of the field and not really participating in this one. Mind Games get themselves a first goal, but it's still for post-game strong. They're looking for the first. They're getting some attacking chances going. It's just that their precision is betraying them a little bit.
So fast and eager were the players to get going, and we haven't really talked about our formats, of course, for these matches. Best of 5s across the board. And so in layman's terms, that's if you win 3 games, then you win the series. And eager to win a series will be post-game strong. You don't want to be going into week number 3 2-0 down when it comes to your series, Jam. And this is a good way to start it. Dipsy getting on the board.
Post-game strong finally string a pass, and not just a pass, they have a finish at the end of it. I don't think even the Mind Games expected all of a sudden a burst of energy. Another setup seemingly is coming in from post-game strong as they are feeling energized. They're feeling like, hey, we just scored a really great goal. Let's try and go for another one.
So downfield is going to be Rukawa with Dipsy helping this on off the back ball. Rukawa with a little touch. The ball dangerously lingering in front of net there. No conversion as of yet. Here comes the clearance from Gustas. A weak clearance from Gustas. There we go. Follows it up. Gets it downfield. But Dipsy with the touch into the far corner is going to see Rukawa jump after this. Double commit in the air, but MacGyver ultimately wins out, although hands it straight to Arceus. And Rukawa there with the doink onwards. Dipsy, with a weak shot. If it had a bit more conviction behind it, might have been talking about a 2-1 lead here, as was the case not to be. But post-game strong certainly looking a lot more comfortable, a lot more in their own skin. A reminder that although they lost in a 3-0 sweep last week, it was to our leaders going into week 2, the Backflip boys. So certainly untapped potential against arguably one of the teams that they could be beating.
Yeah, can't really blame them for losing to one of the top teams in the league. That is, together with Aight, who most likely might be even getting the championship at the end of it. But the problem for Postgame Strong right now is they have the right strategical ideas, but the technical performance is betraying them just a little bit. This was close, straight off the post. No follow-up immediately. They had to call in Rukawa straight from the other side of the field. But Postgame Strong, they are currently, first of all, testing out the post, just living up to their name, and second of all, they're testing out defensive mind games. Mind games are a little bit shell-shocked.
That was a lovely effort on goal from Arceus as well. And Rukawa going to pick up the ball. It's very much a clamp down almost in the orange half here. And certainly for Mind Games, they'll be having flashbacks to week 1 where Ram Ranch were able to get the better of them in game 1 there as well. Gustas with the save off Rukawa's weak shot. Dipsy, the goal scorer, just goes a little bit high and wide there. The ball boomed downfield finally. But Rukawa was there, ready to pick it up, down into the center, helped on by Arceus. A second touch from the midfielder. Dipsy wins the challenge. Arceus forced into the retreat though, got the boost. Dipsy looking to help this one onwards. Pumpkin Digger with the save, and as we head towards our final minute, Jam, very even game, but you'd have to say that post-game strong, looking the stronger of the two sides.
No, if you just look at the shot count, it's 8 shots to the name of post-game strong. Mind Games have been stuck in their own half, but I would agree that it doesn't look like it's post-game strong just running away with it. It's post-game strong testing out Mind Games defense. Mind Games defense so far faring pretty well with removing all the shots. Gustas with a backflip. Again, the precision, but there's all they needed was a follow-up from Arceus, as Mind Games seemingly mind-gamed themselves out of this one. This was close, and yet it should have been like this. So far, Mind Games working out pretty well in the defense. This one was a little bit of a fluke.
It's the old Pokemon question, isn't it? Is it Arceus or is it Arceus? Whatever way you want to pronounce it, I think he was gifted a bit of a freebie there. A double commit, Pumpkin Digger in the wrong place. And we were talking about post-game strong, looking the stronger of the two. Well, it was ultimately the Mind Games defense that sort of fell apart. And now there's just 30 seconds for post-game strong to hopefully for them go on and win their first game of the BESL. Dipsy, the back ball. Gustas with a wild attempts to the clearance, and Pumpkin Digger and MacGyver again double committing. Pumpkin Digger with a great carry downfield, but running out of boost at the end there is oh so easy for Arceus. It's back into the middle, and that is Post-Game Strong's first game win of the league season, Jam. And coming from 1-0 down as well, very convincing indeed.
Well, the night is young for Post-Game Strong. We might have discounted them at the very start of the season last week, but here today, it seems like they've spent the whole week practicing. Just nothing. Starting at 8 a.m. and straight until the evening. The passes that they're currently pulling off, brilliant. The setups that they're going for are strong. Again, just living up to their name in that regard. Yes, maybe the posts are still being hit. Yes, maybe they're not always making connections with the ball. And maybe not all of these shots are strong. But when you're able to put 10 shots against your opponent, the opponent that you, at least we have considered to be the strongest of the two, Post-Game Strong definitely are doing something right. And definitely there's a big change from the last week's performance.
Yeah, it's the thing which I say every time. If you're able to put 10 shots onto an opponent, then that tends to say that the offensive side of your game is at least having a good half. Of course, you have to convert them into goals to be able to win the games, and that is the key difference on the offensive side, of which that's exactly what Post-Game Strong did. And let's be real here as well. Mind Games, apart from that one shot on target, which ended up being a goal early doors, they didn't really have much else to offer in that game. And so it is going to be very much a repeat scenario of week one, where they got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to try and figure out their strategies. Otherwise, Post-Game Strong, certainly revitalized now, surely after that win, are going to be looking for a strong second performance here in game number 2. It's once again 5 minutes on the clock. Immediately, PGS on the attack. Arceus, shot on target. I can't believe that wasn't saved. Was that a whiff?
That was just a miss by all three defenders of Mind Games. Pumpkin Digger misses, MacGyver isn't close enough, and Gustus isn't ready for it. All expecting some chain of events happen the other way, and yet all that Arceus does is puts it straight where nobody from Mind Games was. Post-Game Strong are continuing to find these incredible shots on target and finding the goals as well. Mind Games still haven't tested their opponents properly. Those 2 shots in the previous game were pretty much nothing, and a couple of misses, which could also almost could have been the goals, left them in a situation of being down in the first game.
They're looking so comfortable in possession, aren't they? There's just no real worries, and once again, Mind Games just stuck in their own half. The big booming clearance goes downfield. That's a miss in the defense, but there's Dipsy straight in net, ready to get on the defensive. Arceus, Guyver keeping the pressure on, completely whiffing the shot there as Rukara away. Gustaz looking to go for the backboard, missed by everyone. It's a free tap-in for Gustaz, and all the good work done by Post-Game Strong, done with whiffs in defense of their own.
Unfortunately, even if Post-Game Strong are looking confident in the attack, when times comes to defend, that's where you see the weakness of the Latvian team. Poor rotations, really a lot of space given to their opponents. Mind Games were finding similar situations in the previous game. Oh, that's an open net. But Rukava, with the help of MacGyver, almost puts it in. Right now, Mind Games are finding those chances a little bit more convincingly. And Post-Game Strong's defense might yet be tested in this game. They need another miracle, another bit of pressure, but they need to press their opponents for 3.5 minutes, which almost seems unlikely.
Oh, but when you harry the defense like that, you're going to get rewarded. Now and again, Dipsy completely nicking the ball off Gustaz, who was left in no man's land, really. He has the ball nicked off him, and Post-Game Strong retake the lead. It's 2-1 once again.
You could have heard that I sort of abandoned that attack. I saw the Post-Game Strong clearing the ball forward. I saw Mind Games all in their position, thinking, well, that's it. That's just a routine clear. They will get the ball. I'll look away for 1 second. They score a goal. Post-Game Strong continuing to use these little things. And Rukava, what a setup in front of a net as well. Man, some of these shots, they are feeling it. They're going for a shots maybe that usually they won't be going for. Not only they're doing that, they're succeeding in them.
Oh, it's a good opportunity there for Pumpkin Digger to get one on target, agonizingly wide. And now it's onto the attack once again for Arceus, and this man's got his shooting boots on. He's had some shredded wheat for breakfast. In fine form, it's 3-1.
MacGyver decided to give his opponents a lot of space. Before that, I would give him the benefit of the doubt here, though. They are giving post-game strong all of these chances and not that many responses. What a turn of events. This is completely against my expectations for this game. But post-game strong are bringing it on. Precision betraying Mind Games. Look at that open net. That's not the first time this has happened, but Mind Games just can't find the finish.
And it's lacking a cutting edge. Not for the want of trying, of course. They are carving out good opportunities, but it's that final stab in the heart. Something like that, which they are currently struggling with. Gustaz there finally with a second goal to reward Mind Games here for their persistent pressure. Now they've just got to try and find a third.
That goal was created purely out of pressure. The way that Mind Games were controlling the midfield, not allowing any of the clears by post-game strong to come in. Dipsy will put it in a right corner while everyone from Mind Games was in the left. Perfect touch to outwit the rest of the Mind Games defense.
Yeah, that's some wonderful work there from Dipsy. And it's got to be demoralizing, surely, Jam, for this Mind Games squad. Very much having their mind played with, toyed with every single time they find a response. It's straight back to that 2-goal deficit because post-game strong are able to switch it up. And even though Mind Games are looking better, I think there's no doubting there. Post-game strong have just turned it up another gear. A mistake there, another rare mistake in defense. Sorry for Gustaz. Rukawa going wide there. But yeah, this post-game strong squad, they have bounced back from their backflip boys smacking in the best possible way.
It looks like a completely different team altogether. Although there's still elements here and there of the good old missing the ball, making poor decisions in the defense. But the thing is, post-game strong, this time not only getting a heap of chances, but they're also converting pretty much, well, not 100%, but so many of them that their opponents are forced to play over aggressively, and that creates even more chances for post-game strong.
Ooh, and there it is once again, yet another bite back. Pumpkin Digger with a nice finish there. MacGyver off the backboard. It was again the defense sort of falling apart. Game strong. Gone all offense and forgotten about their defensive duties. Of course, the other side of that story is if they can keep on scoring goals, then why would they need to worry about defense? And almost number 5 there as Dipsy tries to throw this one in. Well, now loitering up in the air midfield. Gustaz going to boom this one downfield. Pumpkin Digger was there to receive, but the cherry pick not coming through. And now on the counter-offensive once again is Dipsy towards net. Pumpkin Digger forced into a save. Just over 30 seconds left on the clock.
You see post-game strong looking. They need a little bit of a cushion of the goal because every single time Mind Games attack, it's looking oh so dangerous for them. This perfect opportunity for post-game strong to actually clear it. Mind Games lost the ball. Mind Games stopped and almost conceded one. Arceus in front of them won't be getting that when Rukawa flies in. And my oh my, Mind Games are really, they are their worst enemy right now, it seems. Yes, they're getting those chances up front. Yes, they're getting the goals thanks to the defense of post-game strong. But when Mind Games themselves are giving their opponents such big opportunities, at this point, you can't possibly disregard the class of your opponent. This is just Mind Games putting the stakes in their own wheels.
That was a proper flare shot as well. That had some style sewn into it. And what a beautiful quilt they have made for themselves. Is that number 6? Oh, yes, it is. Adding insult to injury, Dipsy confirms the scoreline. The end of game number 2, 6-3. You will not get more bang for your buck, I imagine, too many times over the course of today. Post-game strong against all of our initial imaginations are going into game number 3 on the precipice of a 3-0 sweep, Jam. What a response from week number 1. Post-game strong having no trouble hitting the target.
It is an open game full of mistakes on both sides. It is something else altogether. Although actually, yeah, we're going to try to also talk with the teams just as our league is trying to quickly fix his case of legitis. But it is an open game full of mistakes on both sides. But I am absolutely flabbergasted about how well Postgame Strong can use those mistakes. They are in as themselves in defense still, perhaps one of the most underperforming teams, or underperforming. Really, there's no other way to say that. But mind games are making even more mistakes, and they are giving Post Games majority of their chances. And while Post Game Strong seemingly are currently playing above their heads, 120%, what we've seen previously, Mind Games should really be sort of taking this back and taking the whole series back. It seems that if only they take the control of it, if only they don't go for over aggression, over flashy plays, I think if they dictate the pace of the play, they should be taking the series back. Otherwise, Post Game Strong, just on the pure hype, will go from game 1 to game 3 and sweep Mind Game.
Let's get some Rocket League on. I feel privileged now, even more so, to be a part of this wonderful broadcast team. And a shout out to the guys actually behind the scenes, showing you all the pretty pictures, doing the broadcasting, doing all the amazing technical things that we couldn't possibly do. We're just the shouty boys shouting over the wonderful Rocket League on display today. And for Mind Games, they kind of need to step it up here. They kind of need to put on some beautiful Rocket League to try and throw post-game Strong off this beautiful bout of momentum that they are currently displaying. Dipsy taking out Pumpkin Digger. Not exactly the way that you want to get started there with a demolition. Gustaz with a miss there. Pumpkin Digger going to pick up the play. Dipsy absolutely mugging MacGyver there. And Rukal was going to put in the tap-in.
If only I didn't see the same mistakes that were flagging Post Game Strong in week number 1, I would have thought someone has replaced every single member on Post Game Strong, because the plays they're going for, the passes which are absolutely inspired, are looking like a completely different team. And yet, there's the defense, there's the individual play from Pumpkin Digger, and it didn't take long for Mind Games to jump back straight into there as Post Game Strong found themselves in defense and lost again.
That was patience from Pumpkin Digger. You could argue, Arceus, should have been in a better position, but you know what? He was rotating back, he was in position, and Pumpkin Digger just played the situation beautifully. And so, as much as it was a bad start for Mind Games, they've come back and struck back immediately. So we're effectively back to square one on this occasion. Dipsy trying to go for the undercut. Everyone kind of missing it. What just happened? Well, Dipsy's put them 2-1 up again.
I think a lot of expectations were in Dipsy. Actually, Dipsy made a tiny little touch to the side. I think the pinch was in the plans. The top plan would be, of course, to do a flip reset. But Mind Games got completely bamboozled by that tiny touch. And as the whole defense has misplayed it, Post Game Strong, with the virtue of having so many players in front of a net, easily put that in.
Arceus throwing this over to the far corner. Pumpkin Digger misses the touch. Gustaz only good enough to throw it up high, but Pumpkin Digger going to continue the play. Dipsy's challenge not enough to see the ball continue on into the orange half. Yeah, Gustaz kind of just drilled that one into the curvature between ground and backboard, and it ends up not really coming to anything. Now with, once again, Post-Game Strong on the attack. Arceus! Oh my goodness me! Jam, you cannot stop him today! He's going to score, and score again! It's 3-1!
Blimey, those passes, like that specific spot, something about the flanks is working wonders for Post-Game Strong today. If Mind Games don't adjust to that, if Mind Games don't start challenging them, or at the very least covering the net more efficiently, they're done for, because Post-Game Strong game on the ground currently is second to none.
Gustaz going to pick this one up from Dipsy, but there's Arceus once again on target. MacGyver with the save. Here goes Rukawa. Good challenge from MacGyver to make sure that wasn't another shot on target. Finally, Gustaz clears downfield, but Arceus back in position. Dipsy continuing on. Arceus! Oh, goodness me, that would have been a gorgeous goal had that been converted, but not on this occasion. MacGyver was there at the last to ensure that one didn't go in. Dipsy misses the touch. MacGyver misses the touch. Everyone misses the touch, and it ends up back with Dipsy, who started to play bump plays in the back as well. Post-game strong, completely different proposition here, Jam. They look like a team that wants to go to LAN.
Whoa, man! I think they're already booking. Well, actually, they don't need to book anything. And a Latvian team, they just can take a bus and go there easily. And seemingly we'll have to invite them because the plays that are currently happening are majestic. Those triple passes, 1, 2, and 1. Again, I can only use the word inspired to describe what's currently happening on the field. But they still need to hold on. Mind games, you saw how easily they can sometimes waltz in into defensive post-game strong and get the ball going. As post-game strong so far controlling the ball, but every single time they're in their own halves, a lot of question marks still here.
2 minutes is a long time in Rocket League. Well, already 15 seconds of that last 2 minutes has elapsed. Arceus, the challenge going just over MacGyver's Batmobile there, so Dipsy gonna continue on with a challenge and try and get this far boost. Arceus goes up high. Minute and a half left now. It's Pumpkin Digger. Rukawa picks up the loose ball. MacGyver, again, the clearances only going off to the side, and they're weak clearances at that. If things remain as they are, this does make that race for the top 4 even more interesting. Both of these teams would be on a record of 1-1. So for the average spectator, for the neutral, this is probably the best result. Of course, in Mind Games, this is horrible. After winning 3-1 in their first week, to potentially go out 3-0 swept in week 2 is not what they would have intended. Pumpkin Digger just wide, and Pumpkin Digger forces it home. Different proposition, Jam. 45 seconds to score 1 goal. That's possible.
Yes, absolutely doable for Mind Games. And at this point, it's seemingly that they need their strongest players. Pumpkin Digger, they need his experience. They need his attacking prowess. Just give the ball to Pumpkin. Or just like sit back. No, you don't even have to set him up. Just let him play with it a little bit. Because so far, all the plans for Mind Games have completely been down. There's Pumpkin Digger. Was trying to go for a double tap off the back wall. Demolitions could also come in handy for Mind Games. Just remove the goalies. Post Games are already struggling in the defense as is with 3. With those plays, it's more time wasted for Post Game Strong.
Arceus going to cut out the counter-attack. Gustaz downfield. MacGyver's down there. He's going to try and pick up the ball. Rukawa got there first. He got a touch, but Pumpkin Digger misses. That was it. That was the crucial moment to score the goal. And as much as Pumpkin Digger can now try and destroy... Oh, is this an open net? No! There might have been one final chance there. 2 good ones. Gone a-begging. And Mind Games just couldn't put the mental image together for a win for themselves, and they don't win in week number 2. They have been 3-0 swept by post-game strong. Both of these teams now moving onto 1-1.
But one of these teams is the more unlikely team to do so. Post-game strong, it has been a journey. It has been something else this week. While there's still the biggest word for me is consistent inconsistency or incredible inconsistency, but in the sense that it's not like they're constantly God knows what they will be doing. No, it's more like post-game strong definitely have their weaknesses. You saw them on a field, but the thing is, every single time that they showed moments of brilliance, those moments of brilliance were tremendous. You could see that almost every single attack for post-game strong clicked. All these touches found players just in the right spots. But when the time came to defend, for example, then the weakness is shown. For Mind Games, unfortunately, they were part of their own issue. They didn't step up to the level of the game that we would expect from them, and I don't think they will be happy with what they've shown. And in the game number 1, they were shut down in their own half. no threat. Clears weren't working out for them. And really, they weren't even going up front, as if that over-aggressive playstyle for post-game strong just completely shut them down. They didn't know what to do. They expected an easy fight. They expected themselves to sort of throw punches. Instead, with a wild flailing style, post-game strong took the game 1, then took the game 2 in even more convincing fashion, and the game number 3, unfortunately for Mind Games, it was a little bit too late to start swinging the fist themselves.
How about this for a sucker punch as well? Post-game strong actually go above Mind Games in the table because Mind Games only won their series last week 3-1. And so just goes to show these matches mean everything. Now, a quick word from the man in my ear. Did you say that we're going to a commercial break or do we continue onwards? We continue
yes.
onwards. Lovely, excellent. I just wanted to double check. I was hearing mumbling in the back of my ear and I'm like, oh, sorry, we are going to commercial break. My apologies. Right. In that case, once we return, we're going to be with two of the teams that lost and lost heavily in week number 1. It's going to be Ram Ranch versus Scavenge Esports. Don't go away. Welcome back then to the BESL Season 3. Welcome back to the Rocket League. And after quite a shocking 3-0 sweep in our opening series between Postgame Strong and Mind Game Esports, we head into a crunch match, a very exciting crunch match as we now tackle the other two teams that lost in week 1. One of these have got to win at some point. It'll be today. The question now is, which one will it be? I'm Ira League, joined by Jar of Jam. And Jam, Ram Ranch, they at least picked up a game in week number 1 up against Mind Games. Scavenge, they also have reasons to be optimistic because although they lost in a 3-0 sweep, they lost in a 3-0 sweep to Aight, which was arguably the best performing team last week. So although these guys sit at the bottom of the table now, optimism from both camps to potentially go on and win a series for themselves in this encounter.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely possible for the Scavenge Esports to just bounce back from last week, knowing who they were playing against. Aight, one of the strongest teams in the league. I mean, the best they could have hoped for in that game to maybe take off 2 matches of their opponents, but victory was not within their grasp. So here, now they're really properly settling in, trying to show their level of play. And really against Ram Ranch, that's absolutely possible. Actually, for Ram Ranch, I do believe there are no substitutions this week. Last time Hard was playing for Akfas. And coincidentally enough, just a couple of weeks ago at a local event in the Go Exanimo cafe, I was playing with Akfas on the same team. It was a Rocket League team builder thing. Basically, random teams sort of coupled together by the rankings, and he was our captain. So now seeing him play again on the field, it will be a pretty interesting situation. And we didn't see him last week, so let's see how he'll perform this time. Spoiler: we didn't win much, but I'm so very sorry. I was not the top player on that team by any means of imagination.
Well, the Scavenge ultimately had a very similar, or was it Scavenge who had a similar situation? No, either way, Scavenge.
Indeed, they were. You're absolutely correct.
Frosty, they had the sub and the and so they not only had a sub, but they had an emergency sub. So that combined with the fact that they went up against arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league, is something. And so certainly, it's a fresh plate, and that's why it's so difficult to try and pick out a favorite from this match, because it could genuinely go either way. You have to go to preseason, and you have to look at the stats going in, I feel, to get a decent idea of where we stand. And honestly, I would still say that Scavenge have the slight advantage. Ram Ranch, yes, they picked up a win up against Mind Games, but they started strong and fell away because they couldn't adapt as the game went on. Scavenge did adapt. It was simply that Aight was so good that they were able to ride the tidal wave almost. As always, best of 5 situation. First to 3 wins the series. It's 5 minutes on the clock for game number 1, and we are underway with Ram Ranch in the blue and Scavenge Esports in the orange. And off the backboard then, Keo's going to try and follow up this play, batted away, straight into the hands of Frosty. Refka going to put this one over into the corner. Here comes Ragis, a kind of missed touch there. Refka going to throw this one up high. Akfus and Keo meet in the air. Goes more towards the blue net, Super out of the air. Frosty keeping up the offensive. Here comes Ragis once again. Scavenge looking strong, and Keo was almost arriving at that ball to put it home, but Super got it away. And now on the counter-attack, is it going to be... No, it's a counter-attack! And that's going to be goal number 1. And after the early pressure, Scavenge going to hammer on home. Goal number 1.
Scavenge Esports with a clear of the century, and Akfus finds himself in an awkward situation where a little bit of a misjudgment of where to go in the defense, coupled with the fact that there was almost no chance for him to save it any way or the other, puts that goal in the net for himself. But Ramran should not be disheartened. Seemingly they're getting into the attack. If only there were a couple more players up front, they could have put one back to Scavenge Esports almost immediately. So far, it almost looks like the situation we've seen in the previous game. It is the Mind Games versus Post Game Strong vibes, at least with the Ramran being really deep in their defense, and Scavenge Esports doing some pretty great movement around the field and showing their class.
Super with the backflip to try and get it away, but Keo was immediately there. Ragis with a little deft touch back. You can see Frosty launching himself in to try and get a shot on target. Didn't come off. Ragis gets it past Super. He's going to pick up the play. Frosty did think that he was going to follow it up. Didn't end up happening. A bit of a miscommunication there. Refka on target. Keo with the save. Ragis with the touchdown. Straight to Super. Oh, miscommunication in defense. Ragis getting this one away. Akfus now off the sidewall. But once again, it is Ramranch into the defense. Frosty trying to go for the double tap. Super with a save.
Holy moly. Scavenge Esports. Sometimes the back passes are a little bit threatening, especially with nobody on your team expects that, but they get out of that scot-free. Now just get back into the attack. Look at that. Threatening, just barely threading the ball through, as Ramranch are not clearing the ball aggressively enough, allows Scavenge Esports to continue coming back in, even if their players are much farther than Ramranch from the ball.
Refka straight to Keo. It was a heavy touch from the corner. Akfus getting that clearance. Frosty, who was a little bit further forward than he probably would have liked there, as well to intercept. Keo has an open net to aim for. Oh! And Ragis coming in from the night sky. He was Batman. And he's absolutely poached that. Look at this. Akfus almost getting there. That was some excellent play from Ragis. 2-0.
Ragis. It actually scans. It surprisingly scans. He doesn't play a Batmobile. It's actually, there's a surprising lack of Batmobiles as of late in the competitive scene. But it is a lovely play by Scavenge Esports, something that Post Game Strong were trying to do. Open net's not so open when Frosty just swoops in and steals the ball from him. And look at how quickly the counterattack starts from Scavenge Esports. They know well enough how to turn a defense into an immediate attack.
Super has been, I mean, we talk about Batman. Super has been flying about like Superman. Certainly the most threatening of the three so far as we enter the final couple of minutes of game number 1. Still this 2-goal lead. Frosty attempting to get past Super. The interference at least pushing it off to the side. Refka, again, not a great clearance back. Just going to clean up. Frosty over to the sidewall. Refka, a massive whiff there. Would have been yet another opportunity to try and get something on target. Challenge in midfield. Frosty. Infield. Super. Up. Off the top of the cage. Keo looking to get that one on target. Ragis off to the side. Here comes Refka. 50-50 challenge. Goes equal. Ball remaining in the middle of the pitch. And Super there winning a crucial challenge against Keo. Can Refka help it or no? What about Akfus off the backboard? Super there. Save from Ragis. Counter-attack on. Is it going to go in? No. Refka with the save.
Ragis let the ball run away from him just too much. Took a shot. Really no threat behind it. Ramranch was in spot where able to take this. But a couple of threatening situations happening on the field, especially with Ramranch, who are still not playing aggressively enough. At some point, Scavenge Esports just left the ball in midfield thinking that Ramranch or closer Ramranch will take it. Ramranch didn't even go for it, playing passively in a situation where really they should be the one being the aggressors. Scavenge Esports went back. Really, it took them 10 seconds. Maybe not 10 seconds, but a lot of time to come back, take the ball back, and just continue the control of the game. Ramranch need to change their aggressiveness meter in the next game. Wow, that's lovely. That's a good start. But the problem is they need 2, and when the time is running down, I don't see Ramranch getting it in this game.
And that was strong, confident defense as well from Frosty. Refka is going to get a consolation goal at the very end there. 2-1, ultimately the final score on this particular game. But it was all a little bit too little, a little bit too late. And it is going to be Scavenge Esports there, picking up the win in game number 1. But some good signs at the end there, Jar of Jam. Hopefully you're still with me.
Actually, I indeed am. The problem was Discord decided that it was too much. Those goals, man, those goals.
There's too much.
Too much. Ramranch, good thing for them. This game was incredibly close, both score-wise, shot-wise, control-wise. Like really, the possession might have been pretty even as well. And while the Scavenge looked like the strongest of the two teams, based on just on how well they approach and adapted to the situation on the field. For Ramranch, if they just make a couple of changes, I think they're golden. I think they can look for snatching a win or 2 off Scavenge Esports, if not the whole series. But the biggest problem for me so far is still how much they are aggressing. Yes, I can understand if they're not comfortable with being the aggressors, but if they just allow the ball to sit there in the midfield while your opponent isn't taking it either, you are giving the possession freely, and every single possession counts when you only have 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the individual efforts from Super, and I'd say through him, goals can happen. He provided the assist, of course, for their 1 goal at the end there. In Scavenge Esports, I see all of those guys getting involved. They are very much a team that is working together in harmony. And it's that age-old question of, does the one man able to do something incredible outweigh the teamwork ethic more often than not? The answer is no, but we do have another game. We have another couple of games at the very least to try and disprove that theory. So another 5 minutes on the clock then. It's going to be Frosty in possession. Akfus, though, getting this one away. Ragis getting an extra touch there, trying to mind game Akfus, and that one going wide and handsome. That was a golden opportunity for Ramranch to get on the board. Wasted as the ball goes back into the orange half. It's a challenge from Keo. Refka onwards. Akfus trying to go for the demo. And Super continuing to play as Frosty clears.
Now, you're saying chance wasted? I say chance gained. It shows that Ramranch are capable, and breathe that, capable of making those plays in front of the net, however improvised they might be. Shows that they are now at least trying to go for something like that. They need to take risks at this point. Unfortunately for them, the Scavenge are not only taking risks, they're getting ever so closer to opening the score in this game as well.
It's Akfus, 1v2. He's got it 1, but Frosty was there to the save. Refka manages to complete the pass to Super, continuing onwards, and that is the individual play that we were looking for. It's 1-0 to Ramranch, and it's from the Superman.
You said, will the individual plays outweigh the teamwork? When the individual plays are coming from someone you are touting to be a Superman, of course they will. Right now on the field, seemingly it's a situation of Batman versus the Superman. We are just having the superwar heroes at this point on the field. And man, I hope we paid for a license, because man, oh man, someone might be really angry.
Is one of the spectators Martha? Is it too late to make that joke now from that film? Not for me. I'll gladly take that one. Ragis downfield. It was a deflection of Super. Keo looking for the redirect, and what a bump from Super. Frosty was lining up the shot, and then boop, Super was in there disrupting him. Frosty again looking for a second touch. It's last minute defense, but it's working for Ramranch. Frosty straight into the corner. Onwards from Keo, goes wide. Refka looking to go in field, picks up the 100 boost as well. No real pressure. Frosty finally coming in. Super gets it past both Frosty and Raggis, though they weren't ready to commit to that on the offensive. Akfus, oh, miss from Frosty. Refka goes up, net to aim for. Akfus looking to follow on home. Super just wide.
That was a great setup by Ramrange, but it seems like every single of the players that was coming in wasn't exactly ready to take on the role of the shooter, and all of the touches were a little bit too soft and a little bit too easy for Scavenge Esports to take. This one, this one's a gift. Scavenge Esports just set the ball down and say, "Come to us." Oh, almost set down Keo over. Oh my god. Well, comedy of errors from Scavenge Esports in the defense, and Ramrange, as they were already going into the attack, they just continue on plowing on, finding themselves the second goal of the game.
Ultimately, it falls to the last man, though. It's all good blaming your teammates for everything that came before, but Raggis had the responsibility to clear on that particular occasion. And Akfus, who was very quiet in game number one, to be fair, he had the right idea on that occasion as well. It was Refka who wasn't keeping up with play. Refka ultimately doing his duty, getting back and getting the save. And look at Super once again there, disrupting Frosty, who is lining up a shot. Doing everything at the moment is Super. And so final minute and a half roughly, and it's a 2-0 lead this time for Ramranch. Double commit in the air. Frosty going to get the second touch down into the corner. Refka. Raggis going to throw it back into the middle. Super picks up the possession. Out from the back now, Keo looking to challenge. Super gets it under him, but Raggis is straight back in there. Frosty redirect. He misses it. It ricochets off the corner. Everyone decides that the ball is carrying the plague, but Keo isn't scared. He's got his radiation suit on, and he gets goal number 1 back.
Hot potato instead of the ball, and Scavenge Esports are the other ones, as you said, were not afraid to actually take it and run with it. Ramrange, again, just an awkward situation to be in to try and defend it when the ball
and there's goal number 2.
Goes past you twice, may I add, as Scavenge Esports straight from a kickoff use the overextension by Ramrange. Look at that, all 3 players in the same spot, but with Scavenge Esports being closer to the ball, that's prime position for them to just put it past all the players with a light touch, light hit off the wall, and then bam, Bob's your uncle.
It is horrible to see a 2-goal lead just dissipate like that in the space of 10 seconds, but there you are. And that's what happens if you just keep your eye off the ball for 1 second. 1 minute left on the clock, potentially looking to go to our first overtime of the broadcast. Keo is, he waits out. Super gets it into the middle. Akfis on the clearance. Frosty gets it past Akfis, although Akfis takes out Frosty before he can continue that particular plan. Raggis almost mounting the ball there. Refka with the easy clearance to the side. Akfis downfield, straight to Frosty. Raggis looking for something. Double commit, but a save in the end from Super. Keo back into the middle. And outwards from Refka. Frosty. Off the backboard, wins the challenge. Akvis gets it round Frosty into the corner. Raggis as well. The back pass to Keo, finds him. Up high, Super challenges. Still continues onwards. Refka straight to Frosty, goes wide. Dangerous. Over to it again, and I think we are heading for our first overtime. Super's going to let this one go to the ground, and it is OT.
It is OT that Ramrange, or rather Scavenge Esports, really fought for. Their play in the attack was, I'd say, incomparable to what was happening in the previous game, and there's still so much more space they can operate with, since Ramrange is still perhaps a tad too passive for my taste. Passing plays are strong. Goal. And Frost just finished a perfect setup from Kia off the flank. Could have been a little bit stronger, but in the end, really, who cares? They find themselves over the top of the heads of Ramrange and get themselves a second one of the series.
And this is the problem which I've been seeing from Refka in particular. This is 2 weeks in a row now, where he's just been a little bit too far forward, expecting the challenge that's going on ahead of him to be won. Super went up for it. And okay, he might have won every other challenge before then, but you can't rely on odds. It is a 50-50 coin toss every single time when it comes to these 50-50 challenges. That's the one where Tails came up. That's the one where Refka was too far forward. And that's the one where it bit them. Scavenge Esports move into a 2-0 lead in this series. They have the potential now to sweep in this best of 5. And well earned as well. That was a difficult game number 2 that they've just come through. A win in overtime. It appears that we've got brief technical issues here as well. So we will be back with game 3 as soon as possible. But Ramranch, again, they looked better, Jam, but it was in the space of 10 seconds where they lost that lead, ultimately went to overtime. They lost the match. Difficult to pick yourselves up from that.
It's still possible, but it seems like the issues that Ramranch are having are not solvable within the 5 minutes or within the 60 seconds in between the games. Right now, they have actually a perfect opportunity to just quickly talk it through. But to my eye, it seems that there's still there's a lot to be talked about the team mentality, the defensive offensive mentality, and also about the who's in charge, who takes what role. When you looked at the game, you saw many times when Ramranch couldn't figure out in between themselves who'll be going for the ball. If all 3 are in the same position, who's attacking? If the ball is slightly out of our control, we're in defense, which one of us is attacking? Those are all the questions that Ramranch need to find an answer for. And unless their captain, I do believe Akfas is in charge, as you might call it, of the Ramranch, and if Akfas isn't calling it out, then really they will need a lot of time, and not just within the grasp of this match, this series specifically, but in between the weeks to figure it out. Hey, how can we start? What will be our best rotation? How can we designate a man? Who will that be? Then the results might come, because right now it seems like no one wants to take the charge, with the exception of Super with his super manly plays. It's if they don't, since that's not fixable within the 5 minutes, Ramranch are still in heaps of trouble. Game number 3.
Just awaiting the rejoin of one final player, and they'll be ready to go. But yeah, I agree. I just wonder whether it's a roster problem. Whether it's not even a case of trying to sort it out over the weeks of league play, whether it's just 3 players who aren't really compatible with each other. I think this delay might go on a little longer. We'll wait and see, of course. Yeah, I think we are, in fact, going to be just doing a little extension. So we apologize for the brief intermission. Again, it probably works in Ramranch's favor. More time to recollect themselves. But like I said, it's the same mistakes coming out from Refka this week as it was last week. Super doing well himself. He can't carry a team on his shoulders. You can't carry a team solo at this level of Rocket League. Yes, you can keep yourself in the game, but you need the other 2 around you to really step up.
Yeah, it is. It is tough to be trying to carry the team on your own shoulders, but in the end, there's a reason why this game is playing with 3 players, and that's because you need the whole effort of the team. But good news for Ramranch. We discounted post-game strong at the very start of this week. I don't think anyone will be discounting them anymore. And knowing how well they improved in between the weeks, there's still a lot of promise from Ramranch. The question is, do they know their mistakes? Can they work on those mistakes? Because at this level, it's you can definitely see a room for improvement. Just that question is how much potential there is in Ramranch. If in the end it doesn't work for them, oh well. But at least they would have tried and fight amongst the very best of the Baltic region. Took their shot at it. But before all that happens, before we say either goodbye to them for this season or crown them or see them at the LAN, first we need to finish up this series, our league. And while Ramranch is we have everyone here, so finally we'll be having our 3rd game of the series between Ramranch and Scavenge Esports. Ramranch, I'm only hoping they really try to figure it through in between the games. If they just said, "Oh, all right, we'll just okay," or didn't even say anything, that's the worst in my opinion. When you haven't said anything during that break, that's it. That's a death sentence. So my hope is that they at the very least try to start this through.
Well, good start. Super with a shot on target. Easy save for Raggis though. Raggis, who has switched over to the Batmobile. I wonder whether he's listening to the stream.
I mean, I'm loving it already. Let's go.
Let's go. Super. Looks to find it was Refka in field, but the ball just is batted back down to the other side. Akfus with the clearance. Pretty soft. And again, Frosty there winning the challenge. Raggis not able to get it past Super, though Frosty follows up. Akfus again away. Refka goes up high. Looks to help it onwards, just over the post. It's a good start from Ramranch, a confident start. First minute comes and goes. No goals on the board.
But the possession is in favor of Ramranch, and that's, as you said, a perfect start for them. If they can continue the same pressure, if they continue the same control, not with Refka almost getting bumped out. That's Batmobile in action. Raggis launching himself at the last defender from Ramranch. But even in that situation, they come out of it maybe a little bit scared, but without a conceded goal. And with all these superfluous touches that Scavenge Esports is making in the center field, it's a perfect opportunity for Ramranch to take control back in their own hands.
Raggis with a loose bit of possession. Oh!
And oh, again, this was on the line. This was 4/5 in already. And
that was closer than last week. We had a ridiculous shot last week. It was saved. Wow. Getting away with it.
Just barely. It's criminal. It's criminal, I'm telling you. Oh, Super stealing it from Refka. That's a lack of communication. Refka was in much better position to take that on target, but Super went to do it all by himself. Sometimes being the hero doesn't help.
Anybody's game. Anybody's game as we head towards the halfway mark. A pinch between Refka and Super sees this one go downfield. Keo gets it past Super Akfus with the challenge. Frosty. Raggis looking for the bump, but there's a swarm of blue cars over that one. Akfus gets it back onto his own backboard. Super surely going to boom this one downfield. He doesn't actually. He goes for the soft touch option. Gets the challenge. Successful on Keo as well. Frosty from the backboard. Refka with a light touch away. Refka can see Super in field, but bad angle. And Keo wins the challenge anyway. Intercepts. Raggis. Oh, Refka was there lurking. Dangerous ball. Frosty away. Akfus to Keo. Keo on target. Super with the save. Another double commit in net. And Raggis slowing the play down again. I wouldn't say toying is the right word, Jam. But certainly a change of pace from this Scavenge Esports squad as they look to make the breakthrough.
They have figured out that maybe just booming it down doesn't work, and in a specific situation, that is just open at Akfus. For a second, just dropped his controller. He stopped dead. But thankfully, the defenders were there. But Scavenge Esports are recognizing that their playstyle isn't working, so just mix it up a little bit. And it throws a wrench in a Ramranch's works and allows Scavenge to find new threats, since the previous ones aren't exactly working well.
Frosty onwards from Keo. Akfus was there, or Refka, sorry, I should say. Refka going up high again, looking for the second touch. Raggis got there first. Keo. And Akfus towards the net. It's going to be Frosty away. Akfus infield. Super looking to wrap around it. He can only go to the corner. And Refka once again a little bit too far forward. Has to retreat. On the return was Super and Refka anyway, so he was covered. Akfus straight to Frosty. Refka going to be up on the backboard. Misses the touch! Frosty over to the side. They're giving them opportunities.
Frosty was waiting. Frosty was already in the air, but seemingly even Frosty didn't expect that miss, despite expecting something in the air. We might be heading into a 0-goal overtime. Rarely is that seen in Rocket League, as the goals are usually in abundance. Here, though, Ramranch and Scavenge Esports, after that tiny pause, seemingly can't exactly find a weak spot. Scavenge Esports changed up a little bit, still finding the control of the game and the shots to go with it. While as Ramranch, they've cut down the bad in their game, but seemingly they also cut down the good in their game as well. They are almost not seen on the field.
There it is.
And as the pinch off the ground comes in, Scavenge Esports just pile in on Ramranch's defense. Riga just find themselves in between all of the players on Ramranch, and yet it works out perfectly for them. Scavenge, every single game went to 1-goal difference in this series, meaning that in the end, those two teams can be considered to be pretty even. But there's still a lot of work for Ramranch until next week.
You could not have hit the nail more on the head. Ramranch absolutely tightened up, but they also completely abandoned the offense that made them so dangerous in the first place. One shot on target over 5.5 minutes. I'm afraid any way you put that, you're not going to be winning games of Rocket League with that offensive. Scavenge had to work hard. That's already been said before. And ultimately, they have got the 3-0 sweep, kind of putting to bed the nightmares of last week up against Aight. Ramranch now sit dead bottom of the table on a 0-2 score. They might have gotten that one game off Mind Games, but they've got a long mountain to, or they've got a tall mountain to climb, rather, to try and scavenge, ironically, any hopes of finishing inside the top 4. Right, we're going to take a little break from the casters' side at least, but we have people ready to talk in our place. It's our lovely desk hosts, S1D and Nobodies. So, over to you, lads. Have a good one. Oh, not yet. We'll wait on that one. They are lovely people. We'll hang over them. We'll give it over to them in just a bit. But just to finish up on this one, on this series then, Jam, what can Ramranch look to do? Is there anything that Ramranch can do? Because they did abandon their basic principle of all-out attack for that final game, but it came at a massive cost, and that surely is going to raise more worries than had they stuck with their original strategy.
I'd say that by the end of that series, I didn't change my opinion about the weaknesses of Ramranch. They're still pretty much the same. They need a coherent game plan. While you could see that they understand how the game should be played, how the passing plays at this level work, it's still, they need dedicated players. They need decision making. Right now, all of it is lacking, as if nobody wants to take the role of the leader. Or at the very least, the role of a player that goes somewhere. So as a result, giving a lot of freedom on the field to their opponents doesn't give you the games. It is some teams prefer to play hyper defensively on counterattacks, sometimes because that's what they do the best. Sometimes when they recognize the strength of the opposing team and knowing that style will counteract the opponent much better. Here for Ramranch, it's not the defensive counterattack style. It's more like indecision. It's a lot of, damn, we just leave the ball there because nobody wants to be the hero. But in this case, they don't have to have the hero. They only need someone who says, right, we'll do this. I will go for this. You will follow me. We'll have a third one player somewhere over there. So it's in a way, those are basics, but it's also it's you can start to master it, but it takes a really long time to master.
Hey, welcome back to the BESL studios, and I'm joined by a guest. Surprise, there are people that want to be here, not to be forced, and to talk a little bit more about esports and whatever they are doing. So, drum roll please, Sir Danny.
Thank you for the warm introduction. I feel very thank you.
Very thank you. So can you explain a little bit to our viewers down in that circle? Who are you?
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. The name's Sardani. I'm a CSGO broadcaster. I've been doing it for a couple of years, I guess you could say. Not necessarily professionally, but in a sense that I am able to make some money from it. And yeah, the wonderful people from BSL told me, get over here. We want to do a quick little interview. So here I am.
Yes, and we are shooting 2 rabbits with 1 bullet right now because we had to do the interview with you, and we feel a little bit time. We do that what hosts usually do, talk about some giveaways and stuff like that. But right now, that's not what we're going to be talking about. I want to know a bit more about you, because last year we had you in Tallinn hosting with our lovely hosts, both Renars, that's the We and Envy. You casted the CSGO with them, right?
Sure. Yeah, I sure did cast the second season of BSL, and I also did the first one in Riga.
Yes, that's correct. And right now, upcoming in the 1st and 2nd of June, there's going to be the Season 3, and you're going to be there as well. You don't know, but we know. We know he's going to be there, and you all going to be seeing his lovely face there as well. But I want to know, you were a player before, right? You weren't casting when you grow up, right? It was something that you adapted to, right?
Well, I can't really say that I was a player. I was, one of the casual people, tuning into CSGO, playing it from time to time. When it comes down to how I actually started out casting, it was pretty simple, There's a website called hltv.org, where you do have a bunch of these Counter-Strike games. And one of the time, I actually saw there was a pretty decent Counter-Strike game that was no one streaming it. So I decided, hey, I'm going to drop my stream, in the comment section, and I'm going to put, my viewers that came in. We just watched the game. I didn't really do any casting whatsoever. And then the people said, like, hey, man, maybe you could do some casting. And I said, sure, might as well give it a try. So I gave it a try. People said, like, oh, keep it up, keep on doing it. So when the match ended, I do remember that I think it was Cobblestone back in the day. Hellraisers against someone.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it was pretty long time ago. And they said, like, oh, that was actually pretty decent. So I thought, hey, I might as well, if there's going to be more opportunities, I might as well pick them up, see how they go, and that's how I got here.
Well, so that means anyone who's at home, if they are creative enough and find ways to cast some games or stream as well for BSL, we do we give out the promotions that we are looking sometimes for the new casters or people that want to go into this side of the business, not only to watch the streams, but to be behind the counter. And it looks a bit messy from this side, but that's where you learn about this profession, I would say. Are you calling that a profession, what you have right now?
I guess you could call it. Definitely, that's one of the ways you can call it, because the great thing about, let's say, if you want to try to give it a shot at casting, the great thing that it is open. Like, if you've got what it takes, you can definitely try to hit up your local tournament organizer and say, like, hey, maybe you could give me an opportunity. I'd like to definitely give it a shot, see how it works. Maybe I really enjoy it. So that is the great thing about, the open circuit of, esports.
All right. Right now, I'm going to put you on a spot, and I will ask, who's better, we or Envy?
Oh, come on. Why do I have to pick between the two Renars?
Well, one of them is, in your mind, a bit better than another. Spill it out.
Then again, you have to define what do you mean by better.
In CSGO, if they would fight 1 versus 1 in an AIM map, who?
Oh, then it's easy. I'll go with V. The man's got experience under his belt.
The legend have spoken. So that means that we would win that. We're going to have that match happening somewhere in the next upcoming weeks, where we're going to put them on a spot, actually fighting each other 1 versus 1. And right now, I'm just collecting some people, ideas and thoughts, who's going to be taking the victory or not. And if we loses, you're going to be the first one I'm going to call.
Oh,
where's my money, huh?
Where's my money? I just gave you my prediction. It doesn't have to be 100% right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with gonna double down and go with V again.
All right. Right now we're gonna even go deeper in this rabbit hole. What's better, PUBG or CS:GO?
That's really hard to say. These are hard-hitting questions. Really depends what you mean by better. I personally really prefer the viewing experience of a game like CS:GO.
So political answers from you. All right, well I'll go with that. I'll go with that. I know that you don't want to piss other people at the end of the screens. I know. I understand. But but your answer is?
Sure. I'll go with my bread and butter Counter-Strike.
Well, that's what he said. The PUBG sucks, and that means he's only rooting for the
Didn't say that.
CS:GO.
I
And
didn't
whenever
say
the
that.
PUBG is happening, those people that are still sticking up for themselves, you let him know. All right. How do people can find you in a social media platform or whatever to give their expressions about what do they think about PUBG and CS:GO?
I do have a Twitter account. It's at Serdani with 2 N's and 2 Y's because it's hard to get a Twitter handle nowadays. So you can try to hit me up, tell me your opinions on
Yeah.
me.
I'll make sure that someone writes that in the chat. So wherever you are and which platform watching YouTube or Twitch, be sure to check it out and follow him as well. And the last hard-hitting question, YouTube or Twitch?
I really like the Twitch emotes. I really like the Twitch
The
emotes.
man has
That's
spoken.
about it.
I know that you have a comment to be said, and that is you had a message. You came here with a message prepared. That is.
I heard that this guy called Grind is a pretty awesome guy. I was at his place. It was pretty awesome. I was actually on his stream as well. So yes, love to grind.
So praise to our leader Grind. All right. But before we go for the little video about our Latlato sponsor about the balance, I want to ask you how you feel in balance. What makes you feel comfortable that no one's pressuring you and you feel safe? What makes you feel like that?
I'd say one of the things is when you have like a schedule, because when you have a schedule, you're able to repeat it. That I think gives you some sort of safety in life. Like you always
Mhm.
wake up. I try to wake up as early as possible, make my bed, try to have this sort of like routine I have in mind,
Yeah.
so that I could have like the sort of, I guess you could say, safety, so to speak, to back on.
All right. Well, nice to know that. And now, as I understand, you're gonna go back to the bus. 4 or 5 hour ride. That is.
It's I think it's about a 4:20-ish minute ride. So yeah, it's
All
gonna
right.
be a while.
He's going to be going back home to his home country, Lithuania, and hopefully we're going to see him more on the stream or at least in the finals in the worst case scenario down at Kipsala. You're going to be there, other people as well, me for sure, and our lovely production team and others as well. So any last questions to that camera down there?
Don't really have any questions for the camera. I would like to say that, I mean, I do have like social media links. I do hope the production guys can actually drop it in either the Twitch or the YouTube pages.
Yep.
And yeah, that's about it from me.
There is a question I saw in the chat. Someone asked, "What the hell is HyperTown?" I know.
There's people still asking.
We are blabbering about it every single moment that we have the chance to be on this desk, at this desk, on this desk. It's gonna be week 7, but until that, we still have to survive and be there,
Yeah.
willing fully. But let's look at the computer a little bit more. What does it show? We're going to be looking at the homepage of the HyperTown.pro. All what you have to do is go to the HyperTown website. As I said, HyperTown.pro. Get more information there. What is upcoming for the biggest festival in Baltics about the esports, about the technology. There's going to be expo for that. As well, the LAN party, as well some influencers, some streamers that all of you know from Baltic States, and as well some other interesting stuff as like retro gaming, robot animations,
I'm really
consoles
interested
and board
in
games. Yeah.
the RPG Tavern. Never heard of what that is even.
That's
but that
the
should be interesting.
that's the Dungeons and Dragons, my
Seriously?
my dude. Yeah, that's what it's
My
gonna
dude,
be. Yes,
whoa.
they're gonna be dressing up like orcs, and if you don't want to dress up, obviously you can just go there, play a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons, and understand how it goes. You don't have to be a pro. Just go there, sit down at the table. Someone's gonna join you, and you're gonna have a wonderful games there.
All right.
And as well, at the end, the juicy part, the tickets. This is what it is. This is how you can attend to the festival. And as you can see, we have 1-day tickets. We have 2-day tickets. We have a friendly prices. That's if you buy the tickets with together with your friends. And as well, down on the side, we have the bring your own computer event as well. And that's what we are giving away today. Two of those tickets are still remaining. Thank you. I was lost for words for a second.
It's all right. It's quite shocking, you know, when you're giving away free stuff, you can get stuttering and forget words.
Yeah, if I wouldn't be casting there, I would be there as well.
Yeah.
Like I would want those tickets because this is like we have seen that in the different events as well. As well for the not the HyperTown, but the other thing, like DreamHack. Everyone
Yeah.
knows what that is, and that's
Yeah.
thousands of people in the one room. And this is something similar only for the Baltics, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you are not from the Baltics, you can still attend. Only know that there is some accommodations that you have to look forward for. We're gonna have a tent place, and we're gonna have a place where you can sleep on the set as well, and in-house tournaments.
Yeah.
So if you are a lazy guy sitting at home, didn't attend to the BESL Pro whatever tournament, and you want to play more, then you go to the Björk. Well, that's the land party. I'm sorry. Pardon.
He just lost €1. That's actually a running joke right here.
Mr. Bruno, I ask for forgiveness. But to be in all seriousness, it is the biggest LAN event in
Up to
Baltics.
date, yeah. Like
Up to date, and you have to be there. There's going to be a lot of people, the big stages, in-house tournaments in every single game that you can imagine. And if that game doesn't have the tournament,
you can
you
just
can
play
vote
it.
for it. Yeah, you can just write to us. You know, all the social medias that we have. Write us a message saying that, excusez-moi, I want to play Minesweepers.
Minesweeper, yeah, he went
Why
for
not?
Minesweeper.
Like, if at least 10 people gonna join the LAN event and be saying that we want to play Minesweepers or Solitaire or whatever fun game, I gonna be casting that. I gotta make sure that I have that 1 hour free time and cast Solitaire.
So, are you telling me if we get like 10 people that are gonna be like, we want to play Solitaire, like a tournament, you're gonna cast it?
I'm gonna cast it, host it, and make sure you have even some money or some other prizes from our lovely sponsors to take home. So
I'm writing my mom right now. Wait a bit.
Well, that's cheating, all right. We don't need people with like 10-year practices.
The big one.
Peter, there's more. Yes, there is. All what you have to do is write BSL .pro / giveaway. That's if you write that in. There it is. You can look on your screen. This is what opens up. It's the Gleam giveaway. That's the giveaway with all of you at least once in your life have attended to. And this is your chance to win amazing gifts from all our sponsors.
Yeah, it's 34 days left, so it's not actually that a lot. And you have to
participate now.
Yeah, but you have 28 entries.
Yep. Exactly.
Add it up, and it's quite a lot,
and
actually.
It's so easy as clicking one button. You click, you subscribe to our channel. If you are already subscribing, then why are you wasting your tickets and why are you not participating in this giveaway? Because there is free
stuff.
Things.
There's like the gaming monitor, memory cards, power banks,
a whole
hats.
monitor from our lovely sponsor, Samsung. And they are giving us a monitor.
Yeah.
Not us, well, you.
Yeah.
Us to give to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of bags and goodies and for more partner that gives all the money prizes from the Swedbank. You will have hats, bottles like this but only tidier, and other stuff like that. Like
you can get a gaming chair. Actually, a lot of people should use gaming chairs because it's better for your back.
And if you win something and you ask us nicely in the email or whatever in the platform,
Twitter, Facebook,
we will even sign it or make sure that you get it by hand from us. You know, maybe one day Sid knocks on your door and like, knock, knock, here you go.
Here's your TV. I can't really hold it. Please help.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall over.
Exactly. On that side, that's it from from us. I mean, and now let's go back for 2 more exciting best of 5s from our lovely casters down in the
depths of the UK.
Wait, how can we call it? Like in the streaming studio. But before that, of course, let's say another thank you to our sponsors and people that help running this, starting from Swedbank that gave the pricing pool, starting with Samsung and other lovely people that is giving us all this opportunity to give us to you.
Welcome back then to the BESL Season 3. It's time for some more Rocket League. And first of all, we have to apologise for the very, very long wait before we enter our final couple of matches of the day. Fair to say, one of the teams that's going to be featuring in Series 3 had a bit of a nightmare. But more on that in a little bit. I'm Iralik. I am joined by Jar of Jam. And coming up, we've got our last team to debut in Season 3. It's the Professional Ballchasers. First game, I'm sure they're going to want to get a win on the board. And they're up against a Spectre squad, Jam, who have had a very stressful last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, they have been trying to figure out who exactly will be playing on the field, and they have resulted in Samic, Mishko, and coming in clutch instead of Prime would be Aight. So Spectre do field the roster, but it might be a big question as to whether they can perform adequately with their sub. Last week, things didn't exactly go as they wanted for them, as they lost 3-0 or 0-3 to the Backflip boys. I wouldn't exactly say those games were close, so this time it's time for redemption. Unfortunately for Spectre, despite their high ambitions, it seems that they have found themselves against a team that will be up there at the end of the season. As Professional Ballchasers are themselves looking to either clinch the victory of the whole season or at the very least come in second or third.
Yeah, I think it's very fair to say that a lot of people were disappointed with how they performed against the Backflip boys last week. And to have all this going on in the 30 minutes before such a big match in theory, the information given to me was that Krizik was going to fill in for Mishko. And Mishko plays. So something tells me that a lot's gone awry, if you don't mind the pun, behind the scenes. And yeah, you got to worry for them. For Professional Ballchasers, I realize that they have a series in hand on everyone actively. But just for the short-term goals, if they win, they jump up into the automatic promotion places by value of winning a series, but not losing a series. So they'd be 1-0. And so again, it's kind of a faux position, but it's still a nice place to be moving out of week 2. And of course, we don't want to waste any more time here. So I believe we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're all on the pitch, I believe. Yep, all seems good to go. And so, in the blue will be the troubled Spectre. In the orange, we welcome the Pro Ballchasers to Season 3. 5 minutes on the clock. I remind you, if you're just joining us, best of 5 series. So the first 3 wins. It's as simple as that. And kicking us off then will be the Professional Ballchasers with Phoenix, KK, and why not Party? And certainly at the end of the next half an hour or so, Jam, they certainly will be hoping that they can party.
Okay, well, they come into this one with only one aim. That is to win, to prove themselves that they time away from League due to some unfortunate circumstances last week was not too vain. They were sort of looking at their potential opponents, seeing what they could possibly do, and now they have a perfect spot to just continue to start with one step ahead, basically. And seemingly right now they're proving that they're one of those top teams, as the ball is squarely in their control, and Spectre are being peppered with the shots one after the other.
Yeah, certainly early domination in the first minute as it comes and goes. KK off to the side wall, going infield, but nobody was willing to try and pick that into the blue goal mouth. Phoenix is Somic with the challenge, wins it. Double commit there. Go taking out Why Not Party. Missing the ball there though, and KK passes to the Phoenix, the ball remaining in this blue half. I don't think I can remember it going into the orange half, barring the first 10 seconds or so. KK off the backboard. Phoenix going in for the challenge, doesn't win. Why Not Party? It's a weak ball over to the side, and finally the ball into the orange half. Airy back to Somic v2, shot on target away from Phoenix.
And Spectre, with their first attack of the game, do put a series of pretty strong shots at the net Pro Ballchasers. The only problem is, that's so far the only thing to their name. Seemingly, the ball doesn't really stay in their control for too long, as Pro Ballchasers are controlling it pretty well. Another attempt, though, and Spectre are finally coming out of their shell that they have been in since the start of this game.
backboard. Here comes Phoenix. Gets it over one, but it's only over to the corner. Picks it up again, but Mishko is there to clear. Why Not Party with the challenge. KK off the corner. Here comes Why Not Party again. Is that on target? No, it's just high. Phoenix coming down like an angel from the heavens, not able to get the contact. Half time comes and goes. Still 0-0 here in what closely contested contest, early days. Certainly Spectre looking a little bit more confident. Mishko with a missed touch though. Why Not Party to the side and continues to play downfield. Mishko and KK get all kinds of clogged up there in the corner. Why Not Party gets the touch, but Sonic V2 ultimately winning. Phoenix downfield off the backboard once again. That's an awkward touch off the curvature. KK, is that on target from Why Not Party? Yes, it was, but Mishko with another save.
Spectre are still fighting off Pro Ballchasers' attempt to cross the ball in the center or bring it in any way to the front of net. They're faring pretty well, but the clears are coming few and far in between. They need give themselves a little bit more extra time, give themselves a breather. Otherwise, after staying in the defense for so long, I'm afraid they will be completely out of resources to not only to start an attack, but even to complete a defense. And that is a whiff. One tiny mistake, a little bit too much time spent in the defense. You just focus on it and it doesn't work out for you. Especially with lack of boost. Mishko was at 0 at the very apex of that jump and couldn't reach it.
And the man who wasn't even supposed to be playing today, unfortunately, at error. Although again, it seemed more like a forced error, didn't it, being boost starved. Sonic V2 almost answering back. Mishko almost making up for the mistake. And Aight, who didn't have much boost to speak of himself, flails, doesn't make contact. Chance goes a-begging for Spectre, as the professional Ballchasers pick up their first goal of league play. Aight. Why Not Party with the backflip? It's a rather tepid ball into the center. Aight over everybody off the backboard. Why Not Party over to the side. Off the top of the cage. It's down from Why Not Party, and the challenge from Mishko sees Aight pick up the play. That's going towards the net. And did Mishko just save the goal? I'm not entirely sure. It was pretty close though.
It was going towards the net, and it was going away from the net as Mishko, in a perfect situation with nobody obstructing the shot, brought it in a completely different direction. Spectre will be hitting themselves for that one. That was a perfect opportunity to tie this down, especially with the chances not really being that frequent. That was almost the best chance they had throughout the whole duration of the series. But as the score was pretty close, it gives them hope for the next game, as Pro Ballchasers are not dominating the game 100%. And definitely are not running away with it in a style we are Aight with. What was the result last week? 8 goals, I think, at the very least. Did they reach 10? Do you remember our league?
No, they didn't reach 10. I think it was close to a Brazil, certainly.
Oh,
I think it was 8-1 overall or something along those lines.
Well, Pro Ballchasers are not in that territory just yet, despite being at the high rung of, potentially in the league table at the very end of the season. There isn't that complete another demolition that we brought last week against our opponents. So for Spectre, things are still looking pretty darn all right. Now they need to figure out how exactly can they try and work Aight into their playstyle. And they still have a lot to show for themselves, the Pro Ballchasers. A lot of hope was given, a lot of hype was given about this team. But right now they aren't exactly, at least in the very first game, are not showing all the cards, it seems.
The word that comes to mind, Jam, is they look very solid. It wasn't anything particularly bad about their play, and there certainly wasn't anything wrong with that kickoff. 10 seconds gone, and Phoenix is his first of the day.
It was a great setup as Aight sitting up in the net with low on boost and really not reading the situation that well. KK with plenty of time to set up the shot in the midfield as Phoenix backs his second of the series.
So early on then, it's incredible, isn't it? It took over Took over 4 minutes to score a goal last game rather. Took just 10 seconds this time around, lack of concentration. And you're absolutely right, it is Phoenix's second of the day, my apologies. I was so caught up in the fact that there was actually a goal last game that I didn't even bother to see who had scored it. Professional commentator, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. Aight down onto the backboard. And that's a tough ball for Phoenix to deal with, but he does well with what he had at disposal. Picks up the ball once more with KK ahead. Gets it over Mishko, but Somic with a very quick second challenge wins it. Mishko looks to try and get that one on target. Crucial interception from Phoenix. Why not Party? Downfield. Mishko to the corner again. Somic V2 with a very quick challenge. Whiff there from Phoenix. Mishko, it's KK over into the corner. Why not Party brings it out. Mishko tries to find area in the midfield. Gets the challenge in. Okay, I think that was going high anyway, but gets the save regardless. And Phoenix going up high. KK looking to help it on, but area in the midfield does well. Another close, tense game it seems, Jam. The difference being, this occasion, professional Ballchasers already have that goal advantage.
And not only that, seemingly they have a good realization what's happening on the field, and their sight from the midfield allows them to score goals like these ones. You see Samic not really going for it. Sonic quickly changes his mind about coming to the midfield, tries to chase the ball as it comes back into the net. But Pro Ballchasers already found themselves a challenge and a clear shot at the net. They are seeing Spectre a little bit too pushed up, and that allows them to, if not play his challenges like that, then at the very least put the players in the midfield and bring the ball through them. So great passing play brings the ball straight in front of the net of Spectre.
And actually, we were talking earlier how we had at the time, the two bottom-placed teams, both of them have won today. If Spectre loses this series in a 3-0 sweep, then they will go bottom. And with KK's third goal there, already some might say game 2 a write.
The closeness of the first game is completely gone. Pro Ballchasers, it took them 5 minutes to warm up, to sort of really come into power, and now Spectre are on the receiving end of this one. Another poor touch. KK should really take this one, and look at that pressure makes Spectre crumble, makes Spectre nervous. And as a triple, all three players were out of play completely. They had to chase ball back to their own net. So far, Spectre had to play out of the net on that player. Pro Ballchasers still pretty much in control of this.
Looks like a team that's not been practicing together for a week, and would they? It's been cobbled together. That said, Mishko has been able to draw one back. Just took control of the play. He read Why Not Party like a book. 2 minutes left on the clock. Can they find 2 more? It looks unlikely for the moment, Jam. There is hope at least.
That didn't look as a planned goal. It seems like Mishko was shot like an arrow from his own net, went into the straight line, got a demolition, so that's one player down from Ballchasers, and then really positions himself well as Why Not Party decided to clear it straight into the waiting hands of Mishko. But it's more of a lady luck smiling upon Spectre rather than something pre-planned and very, very well worked through. So for Spectre, the woods are still pretty thick and deep.
Phoenix going to wait and pick this ball up. Mishko with a challenge and gets destroyed for his rude interception of the ball in the eyes of Phoenix. It's a shot on target from Aight, saved by the retreating Phoenix. And it's a double commit on offense there. Allows Why Not Party with the break. Next, misses the shot. KK keeps the pressure on. Nice helping hand there. And Sonic V2 and Mishko do well to get this one away from their area. Mishko looking to get it off the backboard. Phoenix has boost to work with. Sonic V2 over to the sidewall. Why Not Party looks to get there first, but Sonic V2 held strong. Aight off the backboard. Mishko looking to try and get it round the corner. Aight in once again. Sonic V2 up high. Whiffs the shot, as does the incoming. I think that was KK, but Why Not Party picks up. Harry with a miss there. 45 seconds to go, and all of a sudden time is running out. 2 goals that they so desperately need.
That was a great bout of control from Spectre. I was hoping to them to perform something the likes of post-game Strong, who really cherish those chances in the corners. Instead, when you get scored upon, Ballchasers, it only took them one series of attacks to bring it back in, as Why Not Party beats everyone on the wall from Spectre. They were set up for a rolling ball. They didn't expect the ball to leave into the wall and straight into the waiting hands of Pro Ballchasers attacking play.
2 goals unlikely. 3 goals very unlikely. And so probably just a case of administration at this point more than anything. Party misses the challenge, Mishko off the backboard. Admin, formality, whatever you want to call it. It's the same result, and after such a tight game 1, Spectre have fallen apart at the seams here. They scored a goal, but they also conceded 3 more than last time, and so Pro Ballchasers going to game number 3. It's a similar story this week, it seems, Jam. They head on to match point.
Pro Ballchasers with the perfect start, and I really see where the strength is. You mentioned previously, our league, that solid was the word that you would use to describe Ballchasers, and it's still the same. You don't see any glaring mistakes in the defense, although like it sometimes happens even to the best of the team. But they have their basics down. They work from there. They don't go for anything ultra flashy. But again, Spectre, who seemingly is still finding their own selves, trying to figure out how could we possibly be playing. I would imagine that the issue at the very beginning of the series, where there might have been a chance that they wouldn't be even playing, still might be waiting on them. But as it is, they're coming into game number 3 with really not much hope for them. They really need someone like Samic to step up, the most experienced player on their roster. They need Aight to be the wonder sub. And of course, they need Mishko to also perform. As we mentioned previously, you need the whole 3 players, the whole kit and caboodle, if you want to get victories here.
Yeah, and again, a lot of pride on the line in this particular occasion. If Spectre lose this game, then they go bottom of the Season 3 league table. Whereas, of course, Professional Ballchasers, if they win this game, they go into the automatic qualification spots with a game in hand. So couldn't have started the season any better from their perspective. Somic looks to get it past Phoenix, but beautiful ball control, drives this out of the half. KK looks to combine with Phoenix. Why not Party? Risk of getting stuck in the corner here. They all retreat quickly, and Aight doesn't capitalize with a booming clearance. Somic tries to finish up, and Aight again with another whiff. It's Mishko who's going to keep the pressure up, but dealing comfortably with everything the Spectre are throwing at them are Professional Ballchasers, and immediately on the offensive, easy peasy, goal to your name. It's a solid KK.
Unfortunately for Spectre, Samic and Aight both had the same idea, but since they approached that idea from 2 different angles, the only result was the ball going straight into the net as the ball bounced in between the 2 defenders. 2 goals in a quick succession from Pro Ballchasers, as Spectre immediately from the kickoff can keep the control, and those shots off the sidewall that more often than not just gift the ball to your opponents is something that Spectre would like to cut down from that game.
Double the lead in the space of 15 seconds. And it goes from bad to worse for Spectre as KK. Now the flash is starting to come out. Now they're brimming with confidence, and Phoenix was oh so close to putting away goal number 3 there. KK, it's a wild ball over to the side, allowed a glimpse of Aight to try and get a goal. Another decent ball into the middle from Mishko, but once again the ball finds its way into that blue half. Somic V2 shot on target straight at X, however, who continues to play. Why Not Party looking to combine again. And it's another sign of brimming with confidence, Jaro Jam, that you see double commits in the offense for both teams. So confident are they that they can return to their defensive positions quick enough to deal with whatever Spectre have to throw at them.
Pro Ballchasers can allow themselves a little bit of showing off and taking more raises than needed, especially if those double commits work for them. Because, as you said, seemingly they do know that Spectre won't be able to hit them as they go way too hard. And while Spectre still crossing that mid line, many of those passes that they're trying to set up are either not finding their targets or the target is not ready or can't play the ball correctly. While as Phoenix, all he does is waltz into the defense, score yet another goal. He has been booming one after the other. 2 in this game, 2 in the more than 2, I'm pretty sure, in the previous games combined. And Pro Ballchasers are walking all over Spectre.
It's hard to call him a Phoenix when he's hardly had a fall. He's risen to the top of everyone's minds, certainly with his debut here in Season 3. And we're just getting to half-time, and things are looking so bleak for Spectre. KK doesn't beat Airy. It's a booming clearance down the other side, but again, it's only Airy chasing after it, really. Sonic V2 lies in wait. It is a shot on target from the sidewall. Another easy save for KK. Another double commit for Spectre there. It's Sonic V2 trying to take this game by the scruff of the neck. It does seem like a long way back, though, especially when they can't even get out of their half. To the corner, Mishko. That's really comfortable in picking up possession, but again, off the sidewall. Misses the final clearance. Phoenix looking to get the block in. There's another double kick from Pro Ballchasers. And Why Not Party is back to deal with it. Somic up high. Again, Why Not Party gets it past him. Phoenix off to the sidewall. Why Not Party beats Airy over to the other wall, I should say, rather. Phoenix up high, looks for the double touch. No can do. And Why Not Party doesn't feel the need to pressure because they're already 3-0 up. 4-0 up.
Quick correction. Extra, read all about it. Pro Ballchasers, just continue on the pressure. They don't need to go ham. They don't need to go face first. No, they can continue just setting up, probing from all the different angles. Sometimes it's with a double commit. Sometimes it's with staying a little bit back. They know how to pace themselves on the field. And then that's the one goal after the other as Spectre, try as they might, concede yet another goal before I even manage to finish my sentence. Those kickoffs are not working in their favor as they are always slower and lower even airwise for all the challenges that Pro Ballchasers throw at them.
It's another sub 15 second 2-goal calamity. Spectre, and at this point, Pro Ballchasers are just thinking about helping their goal difference. Minute left before this misery being inflicted on Spectre comes to an end. Against Backflip, boys, they're league leaders out of week 1. You can understand an underperformance. This is worrying times for Spectres, as very much unlike a Phoenix. They seem to be more like sea urchin. They're sinking to the bottom of the ocean at this rate.
It doesn't seem like this week will be any change for Spectre. Last week they were playing with their full squad, no subs, no nothing with their full strength, and they're considered to be one of the teams that potentially take the tops, at least the qualifying spots. Obviously, it's a big fight for the top ones, but at the very least the qualifiers. But here, with the sub on the field, Spectre looking like the ghostly shadows of selves. And despite all that hype that they put for themselves, saying that we are here not to play but to fight, seemingly they are all but a beating toy for their opponents. Their Pro Ballchasers make their debut in a fantastic fashion. This will be the team that will definitely challenge Aight, and at whatever point in the season I will be playing, I'm looking forward for the battle of 2 big ones. For now, though, Pro Ballchasers, in a convincing fashion, take a 3-0 against Spectre.
Solid. Super solid. And getting fancy with it in the end there. Again, actually, none of those 3 games, Jam, were they able to put 10 shots on target. But they didn't have to. There was very little resistance from Spectre. And it'll be even more demoralizing to think that they waited so long, they scrambled together, that team, just to get whipped in such an unceremonious fashion. They do now prop up the table, 0-2 record, lost all 6 of the games that they have played. Things can only get better, I say with a very big question mark.
There is a lot of questioning in your voice. Yes, things can definitely get better. Unfortunately for Spectre, it's not exactly... They still have a big match against Aight. Everyone in the table fears playing against Aight. Spectre will be playing against them on May 4th during the 5th week of the league play. But it is a tough ask. They need to win pretty much every single game, 4 games at the very least. Again, the 5th one that I'm thinking of is the game against Aight. If they drop that and another one, that's it. Even with the top 4 going for the LAN, that's really not the best result. There are many things that could go differently. Even on game difference, on goal difference, and individual games between each other, they might put themselves in a position where that performance in the opening weeks, and that's with the hope that they can definitely change something in the upcoming weeks, might put themselves in a really tough spot going forward.
And so Spectre go bottom. Professional Ballchasers, I think enough has been said about them. There's nothing too flashy to talk about. They just did the job that they came here to do, and they move into 3rd in the table. Remember, they have a game in hand on everyone, and so that 1-0 record is a little bit of a faux position at the moment, but either way, they're going to exit week number 2 in the qualification spots. That's what they wanted. But our final match of the day, our featured match of the day, and no break to stop us from this one, we're going to head straight on into it. We were talking about this last week. This is the matchup from week 1 that we were looking forward to the most. League leaders with a 2-0 record, the Backflip boys, going up against a team which myself and Mr. Craftman felt could very much be at home in a rival series scenario. Aight. It is league leaders versus best performers from week 1. With the one caveat though, Mr. Jam, in that Garsho, who was very much the flair player, the individual player in that Backflip boys squad, he's not playing today. He is being subbed in, or rather Grumpy is subbing in for him. In theory, shouldn't cause too many bits of trouble because you've got that duo in Sarius and Kartu who work well together. They form the rock of the team with, Garsho being that flair player from last time out. The question is, can Grumpy perform to the same extent? You kind of feel he needs to if they have any chance up against Aight.
This only adds to the whole overall situation of the Backflip boys. Yes, they're currently at the top of the league table, the only team that has won 2 games, and yet I wouldn't exactly say that those wins are worth that much, perhaps. First week, with those 2 games that they've played, one of them were against the Post Game Strong, and you might have seen Post Game Strong this week and think, wow, I mean, they won against some great team. Unfortunately, for the first week, Post Game Strong, completely different team. I'm still thinking they must have subbed every single player on there, put the same avatars and names. That's against the league rules, obviously. It's only a satire I'm doing here. But Post Game Strong first week, they were easy to just push over. They also played against Spectre, and Spectre, we saw their issues last week. Those issues were exacerbated with the potential forfeit today and coming in of another sub. Definitely couldn't have helped them. And plus, I'm not seeing that much, nothing impressive in their play. So for the Backflip boys, now they need to prove that not only they can take the games off the weaker teams, that they can only fight with the best of them. All that Aight currently need to prove is that it wasn't just a one thing occurrence. It shouldn't be. They are still the strongest team in the league. We saw last week rather how well they can perform, and I was just as I was watching and listening to UR Leak and Craftman, I heard that the excitement in your voice. They themselves still don't really believe that they can be capable of. They're sort of dismissing the notion of, hey, well, maybe we will play, maybe we won't. They are capable. They're definitely capable, and so this time with my very own eyes, I'm excited to see how much of a force Aight can be.
The scenario which sees Aight go top is field that's not the case. I think this one games. Games we've had 3 so far today.
Yep. And folks, sorry. Seemingly we're again losing our league. And just for a second, we lost myself as well. As seemingly our video software is not being that cooperative with us today. But the teams are on the field. We'll have our league with us back in just a moment. And I think as we're waiting for him, we might as well start, because just as you are, most certainly are excitingly awaiting the start of the game. We want to see it as well. Again, yep, and even there's our league. Just he might be not with us in voice, but he's with us in spirit. Both teams on the field, Backflip Boys in blue, Aight in orange. And if Aight can repeat the utter dismantling of the opponents that they did last week, today this will be something to behold. But Backflip Boys, as I mentioned, they have a lot to prove that this wasn't just beating of the weakest, that it was their actual level.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with you in mind and spirit. Do not worry. I feel it's just the Discord's having issues today. I think we're going to chalk it up to that one. When in doubt, blame the technology. And just if you are unaware of which one is which, Backflip Boys in the blue, Aight in the orange, and Aight almost with the first goal of the day there. Spring on target, and Chuvas with a save down the other end as Grumpy gets his first on target. Mimfipai, I've been told it is apparently, like PewDiePie, but Mim
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed, yeah. And we're learning all about names here in the regions, and we're learning all about how to miss an open net. I'm not sure who that was who came flying in, but Backflip Boys with a massive opportunity to go 1-0 up, squandered.
That could have been actually Grumpy, as he was then returning back and couldn't help his team in defense either. Backflip Boys get dunked on by Spring coming in and using the opportunity of everyone missing. Grumpy had the ball, dropped the ball in a prime position for Aight to take it, and as Backflip Boys couldn't really figure out who's taking this, my god, why is there suddenly an untouched ball in front of us? It's an easy one for Spring to put it.
Not the best first impression as a sub, although that is how you do it. We were talking pre-series about the duo, about the rock of this team, Kartu and Saris. I think that was a pinch off Grumpy as well, so a real proper team goal, and Backflip Boys strike back. It's 1-1.
Ooh, that was quick and efficient and impressive to look at as well. And the aggression for Backflip Boys goes with it as they block every single attempt at a touch that Aight make, and as a result bring the ball straight into the side of Aight. Now the big test comes in, can they repeat that? Seemingly so far, at least on the aggression mark, Aight are taking, well, at least inviting Backflip Boys in, saying, oh, let's see what you can show us.
Mimfipai tries to get it over Kartu, but he was having none of that. And it's now a speed race with Chuvas getting involved, disrupting the play. Sarius over to the other side. Mimfipai with the clearance. Grumpy going to pick this up. Kartu up for the challenge, but Chuvas gets it over him. Sarius gets it over to the sidewall. Mimfipai lying in wait. Ring is Chuvas there, of course he is. It goes up and down, and Sarius saves. And Grumpy and Kartu get it away. The ball is, every single match that seems to go by, there's a ball that really should be a goal, and yet isn't. That was 90% over the line, didn't go in. Halftime comes and goes, and there's Backflip boys taking the lead.
Lovely to come from saving that, and that was a tough angle to just clear it even from. Backflip boys quickly strike Aight on the attack, bringing the ball past everyone. Saris and Kartu, who else but them, scoring once again for Backflip boys, as Aight not exactly in the power just yet. Maybe I've overhyped the Lithuanian team.
I think we all hyped them up a lot. They were flawless last week. It's the only word to describe them. The Backflip boys have 2 wins under their belt, and I feel like we've underplayed them in all of this. We're expecting Aight coming in as favourites for this. They looked that good. That's the beauty of seeing the 2 top teams out of week 1 going up against each other. It's still early days. You don't know whether it was just a flash in the pan or whether these 2 are actually closer than we imagine, whether it's just a good performance or a really poor performance from the teams that they're playing. Chuvas decides to go on his own adventure, almost gets it past everyone. Kartu taking out Spring, and the move is immediately demanned. Spring taking out Grumpy now. In fact, they both take each other out as response. Chuvas looking to get that one on target. Sarius did enough to get a challenge in. Downfield from Spring. Grumpy over to the corner. It goes too high for Spring. Kartu gets it over Chuvas. Minfipai continues to bring the ball back into his own half, but stops it dead as well. Very clever play. With a minute left, clever plays are kind of what you need to be the order of the day here, Jam. They still need to score that one. Boomer downfield, almost in, and Chuvas misses another open net.
I still continue on the attack, but seemingly with that last touch, that was it. That all they had. And individual plays are not coming in through for Aight. Chuvas brings the ball forward, but can finish this up. Great shot. Finally, is past that threatened the net of Backflip boys, but Backflip boys themselves are absolutely ready for that defense in place, and they want to keep that 1-goal lead alive by the end of the timer.
And Sarius was an absolute monster in defense. I'll pick up what I said about him last week. He plays this horseshoe role where he he has an anchor role to play, but he also loves to come up along the sides to provide a myriad of assists. And talking of assists, that was a beaut from Minfipai, and with just 11 seconds left on the clock, it's 2-2.
Aggression came in working for Aight. Unfortunately for Kartu and Saris, they found themselves in the net. And as Kartu was trying to get to the ball with whatever remains of the boost that he had, they just ran in each other's way as Aight just turning on the fire under their opponents slightly and getting the results done. Our league, this is the overtime.
There is a reason why this was labeled as the feature match. Game 1 in this best of 5, and already an overtime, a 2-2 overtime at that. It's been a really competitive game. Good opportunities missed from both sides. Fair to say they're both not in full flow as of yet. Hopefully more to look forward to. Chuva shot on target. Grumpy with the save. Kartu pinches this one off the wall. Gives away possession ultimately to Minfipai. That's a miss from Sarius. That's a miss from Kartu. That's on target from Spring. And that's converted from Spring. It was a double whiff in defense. Really not into top gear, our Backflip boys. And with just shy of 30 seconds of overtime gone, it is going to be Aight who take the advantage in this series. It's 1-0.
And Spring's shot was great, but Spring's follow-up was even better. Obviously, he partly got lucky with that bounce. Hitting the ball off the post could go anywhere. You put it millimeter to the left, completely different spot. But Spring followed the ball, stuck with it as it bounced back off the post, and finished the job that he started. Aight just piling on the pressure, just turn out that dial to. It's not 11 just yet. It's roughly at 8 or 9, but you know that Aight can play even faster, even more aggressive, and really completely take a stranglehold on their opponent. This is only the preview what could possibly be happening, what that Aight showed us in the last minute or so of this game.
I do really feel like Backflip boys have more to show as well, though. The stats will tell you that Aight overall had the better of things. They created more chances. What I liked from Backflip boys is that the chances that they got 9 times out of 10 on average, they converted, or at least they made into a potential goal-scoring opportunity. That's great and all. It's just a shame that their defense let them down in such a crucial moment. This isn't over, and I'm still sticking to my pre-series prediction that we're going to see more than 3 games here.
Yeah, this is so far has the most promise of every single match we've seen today of going to more than 3 games. Because a quick reminder, every single series was today a sweep. But Aight are not making it easy on Backflip boys. Straight from the kickoff, series of aerial attacks, strong shots on target. Backflip boys so far are keeping it close.
Grumpy with the mind games psychs out the offender there, and Chuvas with a free net. I think Sarius was going for boost. A little bit of greed on display.
And the worst of it all, I don't think the boost was there. Or Sarius picked it up immediately as it spawned, put himself out of the position, and not respecting the potential threat that Aight had with every single touch. That one was partly on Backflip boys, as the net was left open and inviting, I'd even say open, for Aight to take advantage of.
You said it yourself. Aight have more gears to go up through. And of course, if Aight won game number 1, then surely even if Backflip boys have another level to go to as well, that's still advantage WA. In Fitby. It's going to be Chuvas round the corner. Kartu. We're downfield. Redirect. Saved kind of from Spring. It wasn't really a save because it wasn't really on target. That was a whiff. Chuvas gets it over 1. Kartu with the interception. Minfipai now still doesn't get it past Kartu. Arius loses out to Spring. Grumpy now over from the side. Gives away possession carelessly. The challenge on the backboard. Minfipai round the corner. Kartu helps it on its way. Take it around the world. Looking to launch a counter-attack of his own now, but immediately Minfipai stops those plans off the backboard. Waterfall from the ball onto the backboard once again. Kartu doesn't know what to do. Chuvas and Sarius away. Aight beginning to enable that stranglehold you were talking about, Jam.
For longest periods of time, Backflip boys couldn't get out of their own half to even grab a bit of boost. Their own boost has been taken by Aight, constantly rotating in on their attacks. And as they get some of the resources to play with, they didn't last long. The moment they get the big boost, they use it all to try and move up. But even that is not working for them. Backflip doesn't work out for Sarius, as that shot is precise and straight in between the 2 of the Backflip boys defenders.
Could Sarius have done anything else? He was caught out of position again. I feel like I've jinxed him. I said he was a defensive monster in week number 1. Well, he's being really exposed. And I'm not sure whether it's Aight being really clever and forcing him to fall out of position. But that really should have been goal number 3. Finally is the miss from Minfipai turned into the perfect assist for Chuvas. And it is scary that we're not even at the halftime mark here.
It is understandable, at the very least, from Aight, as they are solid. That words come back in again, but in more ways than with the Ballchasers. This is a team that this is a natural kind of habitat. They play like that always. They're not overexerting themselves to play like this. No, it's just their playstyle right here. And once again, Chuvas steals the ball from everyone. 2 players of the Backflip boys on the same ball, out of resources. Kartu tries to play with it, tries to help Grumpy, but all it takes from Chuvas is to dunk down on both of them. Precision, strength, and Aight up by yet another goal.
Now, I think now is the appropriate time to raise the question, Jam. They got a sub in. Was this the worst possible week to have this happen? Because I'm seeing a team collapsing here. I'm seeing a team that's being stretched to their wits' end. And I'm seeing Grumpy not really having as much influence on the game as we saw from Garsho a week ago. It's 5-0. It's looking bleak.
Unfortunately, you can win with every single sub, and the best of the best in this league are already playing in this league. So Grumpy, I do believe he's from the 10-second one of the teams that was trying to qualify previously for this tournament, couldn't make it. And so he is here just to provide some almost even a moral support at this point from Backflip boys. But it is what it is. Majority of the teams will consider Aight their strongest opponents. And if for Backflip boys in their situation, yes, losing to Aight is a sad state of affairs. But this is a good start. The problem is, with less than 90 seconds remaining in this game, one goal of quality doesn't mean much. It gives you a good feeling for the next game, but I'm saying next game because this one is done and over.
It was the duo once again, but not as you know it. Sarius on the end of the ball that time. But as Jam rightly put, finding 4 goals in what is just over a minute worth is highly, highly unlikely. This game is pretty much all but lost. They have to find the positives. They have to try and find a new strategy for game number 3. As I say, it is difficult to tell who takes the lead of the league after this. It all comes down to goal difference because, well, let's not rule out anything too much, shall we? There is the potential for Backflip boys to win game number 3, in which case they would keep the lead of the league regardless. That said, goal number 6 has just gone in. I think it's safe to say that they're on match point.
Yeah, this is looking like Aight back in their old form. Scavenge Esports was the team that got dominated by Aight last week. Oh, there we go. Kickoff goal. Again, like this game, it almost doesn't matter. They need to start from a scratch. This goal would be really great if it happened like 1 minute into the game, where there still was a pretty even scoreline. If Backflip boys were fighting for a lead, trading goals. Here, though, it's not one of those goals that screams, "Oh my God, this is something that we can exploit on the other side." This happens. Aight next time they won't concede that, and immediately they didn't concede, and even scored another one as the scorelines continued to spiral out of control for Aight. They took a little bit of a slow one in the first game. Here, back to their old selves, as already 14 shots on target in Aight ain't stopping. They still have 30 seconds. Why not pad the stats?
A reminder, these are the league we are talking about here. The league leaders. And they're losing 7-2 in game number 2. Is that going to be 7? No, it's not going to be 7-3. Last minute save from Spring to preserve the goal difference. Ultimately, it's a goal difference that might make a difference here. It might very well. In fact, I'm pretty sure that as things stand, they are probably going into the lead of the league. 8-2 now. The scoreline. We've reached that magical 10-goal margin.
At some point, the game just doesn't matter. For Backflip boys, this one seemingly has ended about a minute ago, if not earlier. So whatever happens on the field, who cares? Even if your plays doesn't go right, if you continue conceding, it's okay. It's fine as long as you are able to regroup, take a clean slate, and go into the next 5 minutes with a plan. Because if you take all of that negativity that you just got, that was brought upon you in this game, and continue playing with it in the next one, then the result will be absolutely the same, because Aight need no reset. This is their level. This is their style. They look comfortable throughout the whole game. So for them, nothing needs to change. But for Backflip boys, God forbid they still keep this game in their head. Otherwise, it will be another rollover. Aight won't even notice their opponents a little bit stumble up. What was that? Did anyone notice anything? No, we're good. We Aight, as their name suggests.
Oh, Grumpy had a game to forget. I can't recall saying his name once through those 5 minutes, apart from pointing out the fact that he was a sub.
And that he is not fitting in. Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, and I think as much as I hate to pick on the new guy, I do feel like that holds the key. He needs to step up, or rather Kartu and Sarius need to work to support him better, because right now it feels like it's Sarius and Kartu and also Grumpy is there versus Aight, and immediately another shot whistles by the goal mouth. They're not letting up. They want the league lead, and as things stand, if they have a decent enough goal margin in this one, if they were to win it, they will have it. Grumpy with a weak clearance. It can't even really be called that. And Chuvas almost faking out the entire defense. What a save in the end there from Sarius to deny an early Aight lead. Chuvas missing the ball. And it's all action stations here as Kartu misses. Grumpy finally gets the boomer downfield.
Holy moly, you can see that whatever happened in the previous game, despite the scorelines currently reading 0-0, Aight are getting into the heads of Backflip boys. In a situation where normally you would just go for it and clear it, Backflip boys prefer to sit back and almost allow Aight to have a chance. That wasn't even the final third. That was 10 meters in front of the net. And yes, it was tight. Yes, nobody has an easy shot. But Aight really sowed the seeds of confusion in the Backflip boy defense and almost used that.
God, their defense is incredible. There was a lot of good opportunities there in quick succession for Backflip boys, and every single one of them was dealt with to perfection by Aight. So even when they're being called into action, there's something that they can do about him. Fipai, though, as soon as I say that, misses his touch, and Kartu, the ball goes agonizingly just over the goal mouth. Goal would be so crucial in this game, because then at least you can think, hey, batten down the hatches. Not gonna happen. Fipai with a Bardowski. It's 1-0. It's lead to Aight once again.
I'm speechless. I was looking at him take the shot, thinking, all right, Backflip boys have it. You can see it. You can clearly see it coming in. And it was even looking a little bit high, but Mimf, my goodness, that precision, it's untakeable. Backflip boys had the same idea as me, it seems, and yet still couldn't take it. So much power on these shots.
Darius. Great save by Spring, just holding himself in the air. It was almost like time slowed. And Fipai is downfield. Chuvas was looking for the extra doink to help it on. Sarius got back just in time. Kartu did well, actually, completely bamboozled Spring, but Fipai was back and ready to help his mate out, make the challenge. Chuvas finds Fipai. Bit of a wayward ball just to waste a bit of time, I would suggest. Grumpy ends up making a save here. Double commit in offense. And Sarius throws this one over to the left. Kartu. Not much boost to play with either for Kartu here, so just bouncing around, ultimately challenged, one out. On target from Sarius. All kind of came from nothing, Jam, but it was a crucial challenge here, and it was Grumpy getting involved. The defense not there. Sarius just being accurate.
Backflip boys on their first, seeming like one of the first attacks in this game, managed to sneak it past Aight, who for the last solid 5 minutes were all attack. They didn't even have to think about the defense. So that could have really thrown a little bit of a confusion in their defense. Rotations were slower than they needed to be. But you can immediately see how quickly Aight returned back shot after shot, and Chuvas uses the crossbar. No Bardowski for him, but that
breakaway.
Was close.
Oh, I thought it was a more interesting breakaway than it actually ended up being. Spring had that in total control. Grumpy now, just looking to help it towards the backboard. Fipai dealt with it easily. Kartu goes up high, doesn't really have much boost to deal with it though. Again, Grumpy, another boomer downfield, another boomer on target actually. Spring with the save. Spring again, downfield. Grumpy wins the challenge. Sarius looking to help this on. Just goes a little bit wide. Chuvas over to the other side of the pitch now. Kartu. Grumpy onwards. It's a double commit off the wall, but Kartu and Grumpy getting mixed up. The two of them in the same place, same point. 1 minute to go. Not a lot of boost on the table, and yet somehow Backflip boys are just about surviving.
They're surviving this one. And quick reminder, previous game ended up at 2 versus 8. Oof, and this one just got worse for Backflip boys. They were holding on for so long after conceding 8 in the previous game, after, I think, really changing the rhythm of the play in this one. Aight couldn't exactly break them down as easily, but the old Achilles heel, those long shots, Aight just seemingly have a scope somewhere on their card that allows them to score those. Backflip boys find themselves in a tough situation where they need to be the aggressors, and they don't want to be. They don't want to leave their net unattended.
Carter gets it over 1, but it's not enough to get it past 1. You've got to get it past 2, and that's exactly what Minfipi's doing. Look at the in-air car control that he just had on display there. That was absolutely ridiculous. What he was doing, he was almost casting a spell on the ball, weaving it through the air. And actually, to be fair on that point, I was so bamboozled by what he was doing that I completely forgot that the timer is into its final 10 seconds now. And unless there is a last-minute gasp from Backflip boys, then I think it is fair to say that we have new league leaders. Aight 3-0 sweep. The guys who came into this week on a high, they do it in style, they do it comfortably, and they take the lead of the league. I think Backflip boys, they tried their best. They had a sub, of course. Worst week you could possibly have a sub, I imagine. But you know what? It's a testament to Aight that they didn't underestimate the opposition. They very much like professional ball chasers. They turned up, they did the job, and it means that at the end of today, at the end of week 2, it's clean sweeps across the board, Jam.
Well, so some of these sweeps were expected. Some of these maybe not so much. It has been a pretty interesting affair.
And so let's take a little look at the overall thing. So it's going to be Aight in the lead, with Backflip boys second. Of course, after their win earlier today, going to a 1-0 record. Professional ball chasers are going to be occupying third. And then again, it's dependent on goal difference. The specific numbers escape me, but it's one of either Post-Game Strong or Scavenge Esports in that final qualification spot. That said, it is only goal difference which is separating the two. Mind Games Esports, I wonder how much that Ram Ranch loss in that first series of the season is going to come back to bite them, because the only reason that they're behind post-game and Scavenge is but for that one game. Of course, Ram Ranch themselves, second from bottom. That one game saving them from being bottom. Of course, Spectre losing every single game that they've been in so far, propping up the leaderboard as things stand. And so it's very clear that we have a breakaway 2 now, Jam. Aight and Backflip boys. It's up to them to try and, well, it's up to Aight to continue the good form. It's up to Backflip boys to bounce back from today, to, you know, go on and recapture that form of the first week. But goodness me, is third down to 6th looking like a very interesting story. We have yet to see the professional ball chasers. If they can win the next game, they're right up there with Aight, with Backflip boys. And then you got this brilliant scrap between Post-Game Strong, Scavenge Esports, and to a lesser extent, Mind Games Esports as that final qualification spot. It's all shaping up very nicely.
Yeah, it's looking like a tight one. And